The Kris Cleirbaut, Putte, Belgium, colony's breeding plan and bloodline development, the secret to its unmatched success. Kris Cleirbaut's early career was mostly focused on middle distance and sprint events. There wasn't much space for more as a baker who worked long and early hours. However, when more time became available in subsequent years, that changed. With a strain of pigeons that were initially filled with pure sprint genes, how did Kris manage to prove himself over a long distance? Masterful transition to the long distance. The sprint and middle distance family, which shaped the first part of Kris's career, consisted mainly of the following lines. Rudy van Reef, with Heermans and Van den Bulk pigeons, Stefan Lambrechts, and the line of Olympic Jan. These pigeons performed exceptionally well and brought Kris, as everyone knows, tremendous success, from sprint all the way up to the greater middle distance. But Cleirbaut cherished a dream, to make his strain even more all-round by also targeting the long distance. To compete weekly at the highest level on the long distance, however, fresh blood was needed, and for that Kris went searching. At Willie Daniels' loft, Kris arrived during a period when the whole world wanted pigeons from the famous Sarah and Nadine lines. But Kris knew that, besides these lines, other golden lines were also present at Daniels. He therefore acquired 3 hens, all of which would later leave their mark on Cleirbaut's colony. A golden move, and these pigeons turned out to handle the long distance effortlessly. A bullseye, because this was exactly what he was looking for. In addition, Kris bought a youngster on Pipa out of the pair Cot x Nicolas. This cock bred just 1 round at Kris's loft before. After a lot of insistence, it was immediately sent to China again. That single round, in which the cock was paired to a Daniels hen, was enough to have immediate impact. It turned out to be 2 cocks, and one of them moved to René Conan, where he became the father of the first national Chateauroux winner. The other cock, the Willie 960 of 2017, flourished completely at Kris's loft and became a prominent breeder, fathering several ace pigeons. Kris also turned to Vim de Troyes. The fact that this involved a fairly homogeneous, inbred strain made these pigeons ideal for Kris and Jens to cross into their own colony. Marianne and the 084 proved to be 2 absolute hits that left their mark on the success at Kris and Jens' loft in recent years. Also worth mentioning is the cock. This cock is the father of, among others, Olivia, 3rd Olympiad pigeon cat. See Maastricht 2023. During this evolution towards an all-round colony capable of competing for victories all the way up to the long distance, Kris was exceptionally strict. Jens himself describes it best. There have been pigeons removed here that had national ace pigeon titles on the shorter distances. But if Kris noticed they had to quit on the long distance, then they simply had to go. We've had more than one heavy argument about that. Most people would have sold such pigeons, but for Kris they just had to disappear immediately, says Jens. It is clear that Kris did not want to make any compromises in his dream to stand out quickly on the long-distance races. And the results of the past years show that this was the right path. After crossing their own line with the newly introduced pigeons from Willie Daniels, Cot x Nicolas, and Vim de Troyes, the Cleirbaut colony transformed in no time into an all-round loft that could shine not only on sprint, small and big middle distance, but also on the long distance, even under tough conditions. The best proof, of course, is always the actual results. Kris Cleirbaut and Jens Govaerts can present this impressive overview from the last 3 seasons.